Hello everybody, welcome back. So today we will see how Spring Security authentication flow works. So in this session we are going to see how Spring Security handles the authentication flow. So let's get started. So authentication flow, we will go ahead with the two different steps. So first step, I am going to describe you the authentication, and then I am going to describe you in the next video the authorization. So Spring Security works on basically on these two things, authentication and authorization. So authentication is like username password, you enter a correct username password and that user is valid and authenticated. Authorization is even if the user is valid, he or she might not be having an access to a particular resource. So that's what authorization says. So Spring Security also works on these two basic principles. So before going into Spring Security, let's go ahead and see how a typical simple web application looks like. So if you see over here, this is a simple web app where we have a single user sending a lot of requests, and that request needs to reach our particular servlet. So we must be knowing that in a typical servlet based application, each and every request is handled by a single servlet. So one servlet handles one request, another servlet handles another request. Suppose API slash user is a request URL that I am trying to hit, so there would be one servlet, user servlet, that will handle the request. So this looks fine. So now suppose, let's say if there are some kind of pre-processing that we need to do, or let's go a bit depth where I have to implement a kind of security, then what would I do? I would basically write a simple filter to authenticate or validate the particular user or a particular request. So based on, if you don't know what is a filter is basically used in a typical servlet application where if you want to do some kind of pre-processing, then you basically write filters for that. So there could be multiple filters, but suppose let's say I have one request, so one request per servlet is what we do, and a filter might be applicable to all the requests. So I can have a series of filters that I can use based on the kind of authentication that I implement. So now let's go ahead and let's go back to Spring Security, because this is what I wanted to tell you. Like, there are some filters, there is something known as filters that kind of does the pre-authentication or pre-processing. So now what about Spring Security? So Spring Security provides, once you start integrating Spring Security in your application as a dependency, then Spring Security registers a series of filters. So Spring Security has its own set of filters that it registers. So once it starts registering the Spring Security filters, your request will get intercepted by these filters. So each and every request will be getting intercepted by these Spring Security filters. So now once your requests are intercepted by Spring Security filters, now there has to be some validation, some authentication mechanism that has to be followed by Spring Security. Now in a normal servlet, we need to register the filters. So in case of Spring Security as well, we need to register the Spring Security filters. So let's see how we can register the Spring Security filters. So now once you have added your Spring Security starter dependency in your web app or a Spring based application, so you have to configure this basically. So what does this say? This says that any URL pattern that matches with this URL, this is the URL pattern that the Spring Security looks for. So on this URL pattern, we have to intercept all the requests. So Spring Security now tries to intercept all the requests with this URL pattern. So if you see, there's no, in a Spring context, there are no bean with this name Spring Security filter chain. So now this is a question for all of you. So from where do we get this bean name? How does this gets resolved? So let me know in the comment section. So now this Spring Security filter chain is basically a delegating filter proxy. Now what is the job of this delegating filter proxy? So now delegating filter proxy is nothing but whenever a request reaches to a server, so Spring Security's catch-all filter, this is basically it intercepts all the requests. It just intercepts and delegates. That's why the name is delegating filter proxy. This has nothing to do with anything. It basically delegates to all the security filters that are present. So there are different various kinds of security filters that are present based on the type of request. So we will see that in a while. So now your Spring Security request is delegated from here to the appropriate filters. So now with authentication filter coming in the picture, so there are different implementations of authentication filter as of now. So based on the number of authentication mechanism, there are different set of authentication filters in Spring Security. So now let's forget about this for a while. So let's concentrate on authentication filter only. So what is the job of authentication filter? So the job of authentication filter is it's to take input of credentials and return a principal object with value set as isAuth equals to true. This is a basic use case or a generic use case for any authentication filter that is being implemented. Any authentication filter will have a attempt authentication method. So attempt authentication method will return me authentication object with isAuth equals to true set once the authentication is successful. If it is failure, it will return me a false and it will throw me an exception known as authentication exception. I think it throws an authentication exception, yeah. So this is the job of basically authentication filter. So now authentication filter, as I said, there are different types of mechanism for which there are different types of authentication filter. Each and every authentication filter extends the abstract authentication processing filter. So let's take an example of a normal form based login. See, in case of normal form based login, you have a username password authentication filter. So this filter gets called whenever there is a form login. If you see over here, there is a username key and a Spring Security form password key. So these keys are expected from your request, and then it is passed to the attempt authentication method. If you see there is an authentication method, yeah. So this is the method that performs the actual authentication, right? So this is how it returns me the user token or null if authentication is incomplete, right? And throws in authentication exception is authentication fails. Now there are different types of authentication filters that are there for each and every for different scenarios. We're not going into the detail of that. So this is how a basic authentication filter works. So now how authentication filter performs all the authentication. There are different mechanism, there are different steps by which a authentication filter performs the authentication. Now once the request is delegated, so authentication filters handles all the requests. So based on the different authentication mechanism, there are different varieties of authentication filters that gets called in a Spring Security application. So now once you have the authentication filter, Spring Security tries to perform the authentication. So all the authentication that is performed in Spring Security is using an authentication object. So this is the authentication object. The authentication object before performing the authentication and after performing the authentication. This is what it takes as an input. It takes object with credentials and then it outputs an object with principal. So if you see what I'm trying to understand over here is this is an authentication object. So in Spring Security there is always an authentication object that gets as an input and returns as an output. So once it gets as an input, the credentials are fetched, are set first, and then once all the logic processing and logic based on the user credentials and the validations are done, it sets the authentication value as is authenticated as true. So this is used to indicate like that the user is already authenticated, right? So this is how a typical authentication object goes around in the Spring flow. So now with authentication filter, the authentication filter takes the input of that authentication object and does some processing, and then it returns me a principal object. That is the object which is authenticated. If it is not authenticated, it throws me an exception. Now the question is how authentication filter performs the authentication. Now we are returning to $1 million question. So how authentication is done by Spring after it passes from the authentication filter? So in Spring there is something known as authentication providers. So providers are basically used to validate the user and return an instance of principal. So now authentication provider is nothing but basically it takes input as an authentication object and returns me an authentication object as well. But the difference is it takes credentials as an input and returns me a principal, an instance of an authenticated user, and it clears all the credentials. So now the job of authentication provider over here is to basically validate it from the database. So if you see, this is basically validation from database. So it tries to validate the username credentials, and then it tries to set the principal and authorities along with that. So this basically returns me an authentication object. If you have a look at authentication object, so authentication object has something known as get credentials and get principal. So get credential is nothing but once authentication provider tries to get the username password, so that's the place where get credentials gets called, and once the get credential method, once the username and password are validated, they return a principal object. So that principal is retrieved through the get principal method. Now suppose let's say there is some error or validating the user credentials or the principals, then it throws a exception known as authorization exception. So this is basically a job of authentication provider considering the authentication object. This is how the authentication object will look like in a life cycle of an authentication provider. So now let's have a look at the Java doc for authentication provider. If you see Java doc of authentication provider, it has basically an authenticate method that tries to perform the authentication. So now once it tries to perform authentication, if you see there is an authentication manager, that authenticate gets called. Now we'll talk about it in a while. So if you see, it returns, the return type is also an authentication object, right? So in this way it performs the authentication and returns the object. Now once the authentication object is returned, what happens? So that suppose let's say I have some error that occurred in my application. Now what happens in that case? So in that case, once error happens, it throws me an authentication exception, and that authentication exception goes to authentication filter as well. From there it throws me a 401 or something like that. So any exception is actually it goes to the authentication filter. So this is a chain that this is a flow basically where if any error is happening over here, it gets caught in that authentication filter as well. So now let's have a look at one of the authentication providers that we have. So we will have a look at DAO authentication provider. So DAO authentication provider is basically authentication provider that is an implementation of authentication provider, right? So this is what it is. So now there could be a multiple scenarios where we have multiple authentication providers in my application. So I have, suppose let's say 3 different or 4 different kinds of authentication providers. Now those authentication providers gets called at some point of time in my application. Now how does it gets called? So if you see over here, so if you see over here, these are the 3 different types of authentication providers. So we have the LDAP, the DB based, and the API based. Suppose let's say I want to do LDAP login validation, I will use the LDAP authentication provider. I have a DB based, I will use a DB based authentication provider. I have a API based, I will use the API based authentication provider. You can write your own custom providers. I have just shown you an example. This may be a custom authentication provider or the inbuilt authentication provider. Now the problem is there are multiple authentication providers. Now there is a multiple implementations of authentication provider. Now how does Spring decides which authentication provider to pick up? Now we have one question is like how Spring does the actual authentication. So how Spring performs the actual authentication. So one of the most common way of performing an authentication is by using a provider. So Spring has authentication provider which does the actual login logic, which processes the actual login logic. So how it does, it basically takes an input of an authentication object and returns you an output of authentication object. but the difference is it takes credentials as an input and returns you a principal. The principal is basically the authenticated instance. So it's basically an object which has the authenticated instance. So now the authentication provider tries to get the credential from authentication object and then tries to validate it from the database or any other sources. So based on the different authentication providers. So now let's suppose for example it tries to validate it from the database and it returns me a valid user object. So once the user is valid, it returns it does some processing and returns me a principal. That principal is basically the actual authenticated user. So now if you have a look at authentication object, authentication interface, so there are some methods known as get credentials, get principal, and set authenticated or is authenticated. This is used to validate the user is authenticated or not from the authentication object. So get credentials is used by authentication manager to retrieve the credentials, perform some logic, let's say a DB operation to validate the user credentials, and then it returns me a principal. So this principal is returned by using retrieved by using a get principal call. And if it tries to validate that if the user is actually authenticated or not, it's done by using this method. So this is how a authentication object is returned. So let's take an example of DAO authentication provider. So there are a variety of authentication providers provided in Spring. So these are few of the authentication providers. You can write your own custom authentication provider as well. If this default one doesn't meet your requirement, you can always go ahead and write your own as well. So let's see how Spring handles the multiple authentication providers. So now in your application you could have multiple application authentication providers. So now suppose let's say I'm trying to implement a LDAP authentication, I will go ahead with the LDAP authentication providers. So now how Spring decides which authentication provider should it retrieve? So now there is something known as authentication manager. So let's have a look at the authentication manager. So what is an authentication manager? Let's have a look at the Java doc of authentication manager. If you see, authentication manager has one authenticate method, and this authenticate method tries to authenticate the authentication object, right, and tries to populate the data. So if it is authentication successful, it returns a successful authenticated object with credentials, and if it is not valid, it returns an exception. So now there are three things it can do. One is authenticate the user, second is throw an authentication exception. If nothing is there, it will return null, that is it cannot decide. Now the authentication exception is basically a runtime exception. It is usually handled by the application in a generic way depending upon the style or the way of implementation. Right, so the most commonly used implementation of authentication manager over here is a provider manager. Now this provider manager has capability to delegate to the appropriate authentication provider. So now this provider manager tries to validate and check if this particular authentication is supported or not. If the particular authentication is supported, it will call that particular authentication provider. Now if you see the authentication provider interface, it has one method known as supports. So this support methods gets called by provider manager. Provider manager is basically an implementation of authentication manager. If you see, this is an implementation of authentication manager. So this provider manager tries to validate like if the this authentication provider is suitable for me or not. If yes, it returns this. If it is not, it goes to the next authentication provider, then next authentication provider. Like that, it tries to validate all the authentication providers and tries to get an instance of an authentication provider. So once the instance of an authentication provider is retrieved, it tries to authenticate it. Now you can write your own logic to authenticate inside your authentication providers. So I will show you an example how authentication providers actually calls the supports method. If you see, the supports method is basically username password authentication token dot is assignable. This is the check that it does. If you can do an instance check as well. So if the instance check is valid, then you return the true, or else you return false. So this way you can do a support method call, and your authentication manager will get the appropriate authentication provider. Now what happens when you get the authentication provider? Now once you get the authentication provider, if you see, the authentication provider now tries to get a object of user detail service. So user detail service is basically the user object. Once this is basically a principal object that gets set. So this object is returned to authentication provider. Authentication provider now tries to set that inside the authentication object and return you a value known as provider, and is authenticated as true. Now once this is returned, then if you see over here, I'll just show you one thing. So once this is returned, this username password authentication token is basically a authentication object. So now authentication manager returns that authentication object with user authenticated equals to true to your authentication filter again. So this is a loop, this is a call. So authentication filter return calls authentication manager dot authenticate returns me authentication provider, does authentication by loading the username, and tries to return me user details object. And this user detail object has all the properties. Suppose, let's say, if you see the user detail, so if you see the user, it has all the things like the authorities, password, username, account expired, account logged, credential exception, non-expired, all the parameters are present over here. So with this parameters, it returns me the user details object. So once this object is returned, now this object is being returned to your authentication filter. So now your user is authenticated and you got an instance of this filter, instance of this object as a principal. Now this principal is being set in the thread local context. Now for the first time, once user comes in and tries to do a login, it tries to retrieve from the DB and does perform the authentication using authentication provider and returns me an true false along with the user object. Now that is stored in the form of session in thread local. So it internally manages a session. So the next time user comes, it doesn't need to re-login. So that is maintained by the Spring Security context. So this is how a normal authentication flow works in Spring Security. Now we will take a sample request and show you how the complete authentication works. Now let's go ahead and try and see with an example how authentication flow works in a complete way with an example. So we are going to take an example of HTTP basic authentication. So as I said earlier, once a request comes to your delegating filter proxy, it tries to find the proper filter for that. So for HTTP basic authentication, we have this basic authentication filter. If you see over here, this is a basic authentication filter. So it tries to pick up based on the namespace. So for HTTP basic or HTTP, it picks up the basic authentication filter. So now once it gets that basic authentication filter, it tries to extract the header from the authentication request. So whatever request comes in, it tries to first decode the headers. It now then checks if authentication is required or not. If authentication is required, it creates an instance of username password authentication token. And this token object is nothing but an instance of authentication. So this instance of authentication is being created and set as authentication is authenticated false. Now this object is then passed to the authentication manager. So now authentication manager takes input a username password authentication token, that is the authentication object, and now it tries to authenticate. So once authentication manager processes the request with that token object, authentication value is changed. How? It is changed using a authentication provider. Now the proper authentication provider gets called up. The authentication provider now the authentication tries to have, before that authentication manager dot authenticated is being called, and it tries to find out the authentication provider. So now authentication provider handles the authentication like the DB or whatever you have. You can have any custom authentication provider as well. So that authentication provider now returns an instance of the user detail service. If you have a look at it, so this username password authentication token, once it tries to return it from authentication provider, there is an object known as principal and credentials, so that is being filled up. So that gets filled up and gets returned to the authentication manager. So how does it gets filled up? So it tries to call load by username method of that authentication provider, which in turn returns your user details object, and that object is set as a principal to the authentication to the username password authentication token, and that authentication object is returned to the authentication provider, right? So this authentication provider now the authentication manager will now have the username password authentication token with authenticated true, and this principal is set as user details object. Now this object is being returned to the authentication filter now. So once the authentication filter gets that object, it now checks if it is authenticated or not. If it is authenticated, it sets in the thread local or the security context. So Spring security context is nothing but a thread local. Plus it has some other functionalities as well, like it manages the session and all those things. So once it is set, an authentication is completed. So authentication lifecycle is completed. So this is how a basic HTTP authentication will work. It does work. So all other authentication almost follows the same pattern, plus minus few objects that are not there. But in a whole, this always follows the same pattern. So using this pattern, you can create a custom token authentication, and all those things you can do in your application. So let me know if you have any query, any confusion. Let me know in the comment. Please go ahead and subscribe it. Thank you.